Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen for a brand new video. It's actually been a while since I've uploaded a new video here on YouTube, so I thought we would do something a little bit different today. And instead of cooking up a new recipe, I thought let's do a little kitchen organization tour. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't always been the most organized person, but I made a goal for myself in the new year that was something I was gonna work on. So now we are 4-5 months in, I think, and I finally decided to remodel all the kitchen drawers and just get organized because a lot of things were breaking and it was just getting very stressful cooking when things were piled up on top of each other. So I went to Amazon, ordered a lot of stuff and reorganized everything, and I want to show you some of my favorite things that I found. So let's get right into it. So we're gonna start over here to the right of the fridge where we have our pantry situation, I guess. I keep a lot of dry goods here like peanut butter, honey, a bunch of canned stuff that we have. There's also a lot of pasta, some snacks, and then we have some supplements and vitamins and medicine on the top. The most frustrating thing about this cabinet was that there wasn't that many shelves and there's a huge height difference. So I wasn't utilizing the space properly at first, and then I saw these overhanging baskets on Amazon, and you don't need to mount or drill anything. You literally just slide them right in, and then I put a bunch of cans in there. They fit about 12, so it's super useful. And then I also have one on the top that I use for supplements too. Now these were a huge game changer. They're small thin baskets that stick on the back of your door. Obviously you can stick them anywhere else, but I put them in the pantry just to utilize this space as much as possible and fit almost everything. So they come in a set of 2, so I ordered 2 to end up with 4. And since they're really small, you can only fit a few things in it, but it's super handy. I have like little coffee packets, things for salads like croutons, raisins, and then I also have some snacks in here like chocolate, which is really good. And yeah, that's basically it for that. So before all of this, one of the biggest issues I was having was just being able to see everything as I cook and just grab something. I would always have to like look around and go over things just to find what I had. Or sometimes I wouldn't even notice that the item was there and I'd end up buying another one just because I couldn't see it. So the goal with this was to make everything viewable so that you can just know what you have, be able to grab it and just cook. So I got a bunch of baskets and kind of categorized them into sections so that everything is just super accessible. The top 2 baskets are more on the sweet side. So the left I put a bunch of honey and syrups, and then on the right a bunch of spreads like peanut butter, Nutella, that kind of stuff. And then the bottom gets a little more savory, so I have some dressings, broths, and then all the way on the bottom is pasta and noodles. And that's basically it. Usually I buy what I need on the day of, so I typically don't have a lot in my pantry stocked already in advance. I got a mix of smaller baskets for items like this, and then bigger baskets for items like pasta and supplements. The smaller baskets also come with labels. I haven't decided if I want to use them yet, so that's why they're blank, or you could just flip it over to the other side, which doesn't have the labels. And now we're gonna move on to the fridge. These baskets for keeping drinks stocked in the fridge are my favorite. One of them I use for water bottles, and then the other I use for protein shakes. You can put sparkling water, soda, whatever you like, just to keep cold, and then you can just grab and go. For eggs, I usually buy 2 cartons at a time, and they just get very bulky in the fridge, so I like having this in the fridge, and it's just super easy to take out and put back in, and also your eggs are less likely to break with this. And then this might be my favorite thing in the fridge. It's this overhanging basket that slides out, and it's super small, so I just like to put some protein bars in there, any little snacks that we can just grab and take on the go. My number 1 tip for keeping your fridge and freezer clean is just to check it every single week. You don't need to buy any of these items. Just make sure that if something expires, goes bad, or if you don't put something in its place by the end of the week, you return everything where it needs to be. That way it stays clean. Up next is my favorite cabinet because I love to bake. It is all of my baking essentials. These jars right here are my absolute favorite thing in the kitchen. I have so many of them all throughout the pantry. They're super huge. They fit so much since I buy a lot of these ingredients bulk from Costco. So we have sugar, all-purpose flour, other types of sugar, other types of flour, and then they also have smaller sizes up here that are also at IKEA for things like chocolate chips, nuts, other small ingredients that you're gonna bake with, but you don't need in such a large jar like this. I also added 2 overhanging baskets in this cabinet as well, since there was space for them to fit, and I just put smaller things in there like baking powder, cornstarch, cream of tartar, just random ingredients that I don't need that much that I have in very small jars. And then the baking pantry overflows into this drawer where I also have some goods that I don't use as much, but it's good to have on hand, and then I'm using the same jars over here as well. Some of the jars are all different shapes and sizes because I ordered a bunch off Amazon to see which ones I liked before I discovered the IKEA ones, and then I was too lazy to return them, so that's why they all look different. But it's still cute. I have a lot of dried fruit and nuts in here, some green tea, and then a few other things up there that I just didn't have space for in the large cabinet. Now we're gonna go down here into this cabinet for all the oils and sauces that we use while we cook. On the bottom we have all our oils and vinegars, and then on the top is just random sauces like sesame oil, chili oil, chipotle sauce, fish sauce, soy sauce, just things like that that I only use for certain recipes. Those are going to be on the top in this Lazy Susan that I got from Amazon. It spins around like this, so you don't even need to reach over to grab anything, you just twist it around. And then a big tip for storing your oil, make sure to get these little slips that you can cut and put under, because I noticed a lot of the oil was staining the bottom. So I bought this from IKEA in a roll, and then you just cut it to the size of your drawers, put it under, and that's gonna avoid it from messing up your cabinets. And that's basically it for that little section. To the left of the stove, we have the drawer with all the utensils that you might need while you're cooking, like spatulas, wooden spoons, rubber spatulas. And this used to be a huge mess. Everything was just kind of thrown in there until I bought this little organizer that can expand or shrink depending on the size of your drawer, which was super handy to have. Then all the way to the bottom we have our Tupperware drawer, which used to be also one big mess, and now it looks a little bit more managed. This basket was actually only meant to hold the Tupperware lids, but since I don't have that much, I also put the actual containers in here as well. But it comes with these little dividers that you can stick into the basket to section them off into like the rectangular, the square shape, the large, the small ones. I didn't really use any, I just used one to separate the covers from the containers, and that was it for this. Under the sink is not that exciting. I just have a bunch of random stuff put in here. I did get this organizational 2-tier shelving unit for cleaning supplies. It comes unassembled. It took about 5 minutes to put together, and it's just super useful for putting all your wipes. I have the dishwasher detergent in there, some soap, and yeah, that's it. I also got this basket that kind of hangs over from the side. I tried to get it in black so it kind of would blend in, since you can see it when you close it. I'm just using it to put it in some trash bags, but I will say that it doesn't allow the doors to close properly, so if that doesn't bug you, then I do recommend it. For the actual sink, there's not much going on also. I just got this little basket to put in some sponges. There's also a little spot right here to put in any handheld brush. This black set was from IKEA. The dish soap goes in here, and then you could also put a brush in here if you don't want to put it in there. I need to buy a new brush, which is why there's nothing. For the countertops, I like to keep it as minimal as possible since there's a lot of cooking going on in here. So I just have this little pitcher for any utensils that did not fit in this drawer over here. And then I have this olive oil dispenser that I got from Zara Home just to have on hand since I use a lot of olive oil. Then I have our place pot and pan. This ladle was from Zara Home, just to set while you cook. And then we have our kettle and coffee grinder over here. On this side, I got this paper towel holder that sticks from underneath. It's like a little bit of adhesive tape that comes with it, and then you can just add your paper towel roll so that it's not taking up any counter space. And then I have my KitchenAid stand mixer and a mortar and pestle. And that's it for the countertop. Above the dishwasher, we have our drawer that has all the cups and plates, which was probably the most frustrating part to organize. Cabinet is not the most organized, but it definitely looks better than before, so I'm okay with it. But my favorite thing that I got were these bottle holders for shakers or anything that you use to drink water on the go, and they don't take up too much space that way. These little stands are good to create almost like a second shelf. And then I got another overhanging basket because, if you couldn't tell, I'm kind of obsessed with them. And then I put paper plates in one of them. That way, if I'm lazy to do dishes, they're right there. Then all the way on the top, I put a bunch of cups that I don't use every single day. Also teacups, which I only use when I have guests. And that's it for that. For the drawer that you saw all the way on the top that has the random teacups and glasses I use for styling, I actually use this expandable 3-tiered shelf to put them all in. So it glides like this so that it fits the size of your shelf. It was kind of frustrating because a lot of larger cups did not fit inside, so I had to put all the smaller cups in there. But you can also use this for spices or anything that you see fit in your kitchen. And now for the last part of the kitchen, we are gonna go to the island, which thankfully has a bunch of cabinets and drawers underneath for storage. So let's take a look inside there. Since I use a lot of spices when I cook, I decided to keep the biggest drawer on top for all of the spices. Now, I did a whole blog post on this, so I won't go too much into detail. I'll just link it down below. I made sure to link everything, including the jars, the labels, the shelves, as well as some places that I like to get my spices from. To the right of the spices, which is also the part of the island closest to the dining table, I made sure to include all of our utensils, measuring spoons, and measuring cups. This is amazing because it has a section for smaller spoons, smaller forks, larger forks. And then I put my knives in there, the measuring cups, and then some chopsticks here. So this just keeps everything super organized so you don't have to rummage through to find what you need. These wooden blocks actually came in a set that you were supposed to use together, but none of them ended up fitting in my drawer, so I kind of just randomly placed them here. It doesn't look super nice, but it gets the job done of putting everything in its little categories. Then to the left of the spices, we have all our knives, and I got a similar organizer to the one with the utensils to put all the scissors, steak knives, and then these knives that I use for chopping. I don't have that many, so this is perfect for my needs. And then I have another random wooden organizer for some more cutting stuff, and then the knife sharpener, and that's basically it for that. Underneath the spices is all the pots and pans that were a little bit difficult to organize, but luckily there were some unique tools that I found that helped put everything in its place and just make everything a little more accessible, because taking out pots and pans were really annoying before this. So let me show you. This rack organizer is meant to hold all your lids for your pots and pans, and it actually fits a lot, I believe about 8. I just had one that did not fit and it's hanging out all by itself. So that was super handy. And then to the left we have a pan organizer. It has a bunch of shelves to stick in your pans, so I have 2 skillets on the top. Then I had a set of 2 pans that fit on one shelf, which was super useful since there are a lot of pans. And then I have another set of 2 pans and then a larger wok on the bottom, so it definitely fits larger sized ones. And then I wasn't able to find a pot organizer that fits in my cabinet, so they're just hanging out here in the middle, which is fine with me. And then I just have some strainers on the top and some serving trays that I really only use when I have guests, so they're just hidden in the back. And that's basically it for the pot and pans. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about things I have on the countertops. I got these little things you can attach to the back of your devices to wrap your wire around. That way they're not just hanging out and it's just kind of like an eyesore. So it's just like a double-sided tape on the back. You stick it on, wrap the wire around, and then you can latch it on here, and then it's not visible when it's not plugged in. I also got one for the coffee machine since I don't use it every day and I don't want to see the wires, so it's just hanging out there in the back. So I think that's basically it for the kitchen. It's not the most organized, but it gets the job done for me, and so far cooking has been so much more of a breeze than the before. So I'm really happy and I hope this has been useful for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'll make sure to include the blog post with all the links for every single item I talked about in this video down below. So make sure to check that out, and if you have any questions about any of the items, let me know down below in the comments and I'll get back to them right away. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit it with a thumbs up and never forget to subscribe so you never miss when I upload a new video. On that note, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!